Assalamu alaikum. Welcome to lecture 3 of chapter 5, metal casting. In this lecture, as usual, we will first do a quick review of the previous lecture, lecture 2. And today we will continue with solidification time, which we started last time. We'll try to do an example. We will talk of pattern making and the allowances in pattern making, especially shrinkage allowance. Then a big new topic will start, melting practice and furnaces. In the beginning of last lecture, we thought we could cover some of this and we listed these, but time did not allow us. So furnaces, cupola, direct fuel fired, crucible, electric arc, induction furnace, ladle, all these are parts of melting practice and furnaces. We will try to cover that. If time allows, then we will talk a little about expandable mold permanent pattern casting, right? So this is now a totally new topic. That was furnaces and so on, the previous one. This is the first major class of molds. In this, the first major category is sand casting, expandable mold sand casting. So what are the steps? What are the foundry types of sand? What are the components and properties and so on of the sand mold? What is pattern making and pattern types? What is a core? What is the molding practice steps and the steps after molding? So this is what we intend to cover today. Let us see how much of this we can actually do. So very quickly, to bring you mentally up to date, what we covered last time in lecture 2 of chapter 5. We talked of flow characteristics and we mentioned Reynolds. We did a very nice example in which we calculated the velocity at the bottom of the sprue, the area required not to allow any aspiration, the Reynolds number, and right. So this is that example and all the values that. So we needed the volume continuity equation, we needed the Bernoulli equation, we needed the equation for Reynolds number, and so on. Then we talked of buoyancy in sand casting. We gave you the equation FB is equal to Wm minus WC. We explained with the help of Archimedes principle the buoyancy, and that this buoyancy is needed only in hollow castings where we need to make a hole or a cavity inside the casting and we need a core, and this core is floating in the liquid metal. Fluidity of molten metal, very important that the metal should be easy to flow inside the mold, and what are the conditions and so on. Heat transfer and the temperature distribution. When we pour a superheated molten liquid, then it goes through the pouring basin, through the sprue, through the gates, into the mold cavity, into the riser. So what is the heat transfer and what are the temperature drops? Then related to that, solidification time, how quickly the whole casting will solidify, and this was described by the Chevaronov's rule, which is in terms of the volume and the surface area. A little bit about skin thickness in casting, that all castings start to cool from the outside and then go towards the inside, so there is a skin in casting. Some notes, some observations about Chevaronov's rule, very, very critical, because these are the ones about the relationship between the riser volume and the volume of the sprue and the volume of the casting cavity, because these guiding principles allow us to design the sand mold in a nice way. So that was where we stopped last time, right? Chevaronov's rule for finding the solidification time. So let us start for today. We'll start with an example. Three pieces being cast have the same volume but different shapes. One is a sphere, one a cube, and the other a cylinder with a height equal to its diameter. Which piece will solidify the fastest and which one the slowest? use n is equal to 2. So one thing is that all three are the same metal, right? Otherwise you can't do this. All three are the same metal and they have the same volume, but their cross-sectional areas will be different because one is a sphere, one is a cube, and one is a cylinder. For the cylinder, the height of the cylinder or length of the cylinder and the diameter are equal. And in Chevaronov's rule, use n is equal to 2. So solidification time is equal to some constant c into volume upon surface area square, right? That is the equation. So as I always want you to do, please pause it now. Don't read further, don't listen further. Take a blank page, take your pen and start doing it. Read the problem again carefully, write down the knowns and the unknowns and then solve it. And here it is almost 100% direct that there is only one equation, Chevaronov's rule. So once you are satisfied that your solution is correct, you do it, you recheck it. And once you think that it is correct, only then move the pause and go further in the lecture, right? So now, because the volume is the same, we can take the volume to be 1. We can take the volume to be 1. So solidification time is proportional to volume upon surface area whole square. But because volume is the same, we can take volume to be 1. So just this, that the solidification time is proportional to a square, right? 1 upon a square of the surface area. So we have removed the volume calculation from here, right? We can do the volume to surface area square, volume upon surface area square for a sphere, cube and cylinder. But we can remove that, we can just find the surface area. So for a sphere, what is the surface area? Surface area, not the volume, surface area, right? So you have to remind yourself, the volume is I think 4 by 3 pi r cubed, right? And then there is the surface area of the sphere. For a cube, of course, if one side is a, then it is a cubed. For a cylinder with height and length equal, right? Height and length equal. So if you call it a, that a is the length, a is the dia, then, right, pi by 4 d square is the circle and multiplied by. So this is it, and hopefully you have done it. So I am writing again that the volume for the sphere, if we need it, is 4 by 3 pi r cubed, right? So from here, they say we can find r is equal to 3 by 4 pi raised to 1 by 3. But this is actually not required. Area is 4 pi r square. This is the surface area of a sphere, 4 pi r squared. Okay. So 4 pi, and instead of r, 3 by 4 pi, they can do this. So area is 4.84 in this, right, in this thing. Now for cube, volume is a cubed, a is equal to 1. Area is 6a square. Remember, it is a cube, each side is a square in area, and there are 6 faces. So the area is 6a square. And because area a is equal to 1, therefore a is equal to 6. This area is 6. For cylinder, pi r square is the circle and h is the height, isn't it? But because h is equal to r, so this becomes pi r cubed, right? So 2 pi r cubed and so on. And radius from there is so much. Area, remember, 2 pi r square, the top circle and the bottom circle area, and pi r h, right? 2 pi r is the circumference into h. So this is the total surface area of the cylinder, and you can find again by the earlier technique that this is 5.54 and so on. So you can do it like this, and a square, right? Remember, the solidification time is equal to 1 upon surface area square. So 1 upon this square, 1 upon this square, 1 upon this square. So they are finding this, whatever constant c is there. So 0.043c, 0.028c, 0.033c. Which is the smallest? Which is the smallest? Cube. Cube. So smallest time, this will be the fastest to cool. This will be the fastest to cool, right? And so on. You can do any other technique you like. You can actually find the volume, actually find the area, actually take this upon this as a ratio and then square it. So you can do, or you can assume volume to be 1 as we just did and then do it. But this is it. And C is a constant if the metal is the same, if the sand is the same and so on, only the shape is different. Then the constant C is the same for all of them. Therefore, as we see in this answer, so much C, so much C, so much C, it does not matter. C will be the same. So now this is a good example. We have taken 3 different shapes, but this means that you see for simple shapes like cubes and cylinders and spheres and so on, you should remember from your earlier courses what is their area and what is their volume, right? This will not be given in the list of equations and tables for this course. This you have done it so many times in geometry at the school level, at the Sanivia level, at the university level. You have done it so many times, and these are very standard shapes: cube, sphere, cylinder. So you should know how to calculate their areas and volumes. If you do, then any of these problems will be nothing, right? So we did a very good problem on a sprue design earlier. We have done another good problem on a sprue design in times of solidification time. Not for sprue design, the casting design, right? And I keep on telling you that generally we select examples which, if you have done independently and you have been thinking about it, then they are very good examples. And if you combine this with, say, the homework that we will shortly upload, then you are already very good. But if you want to be top of the class, A plus type of students, then at the end of every chapter always there are some more numerical problems, so you can do those as well. And if in solving any of the things you have any problems and so on, then we have the online sessions where you can discuss with me, and you can also send me emails and so on. Allowances in pattern making, right? I told you earlier, I am repeating it. Allowances in pattern making. When we make the pattern, this pattern is used to make the cavity in the mold, right? We make a solid pattern. We put this pattern inside the sand mold when we are making it. We pack the sand all around. Later on, we remove this pattern and the cavity is now there, the mold cavity in which the liquid molten metal will be there. So this pattern is almost exactly the shape and size of what we want our final casting to be. But there are 3 major things. There are some others also. If you join a foundry where casting is being done, you will know more details, but there are 3 things: shrinkage, draft, and finishing. We have to increase the size of the pattern by these. When any hot metal cools down, it shrinks a little, right? So the pattern should be a little larger than the casting. So once it cools down, then after cooling, the solid volume is what you want. Draft allowance, this thing, that this is a pattern, this is the sand mold. This pattern has to be removed. First it is put inside and then it is solidified, packed sand all around, and then you have to remove it. So this, right, this portion is called the draft. You have a small angle on the pattern. You don't make it exactly straight, otherwise it will interfere with the wall of the sand and something can be broken. So this is called draft allowance. And in the end, to improve the surface finish and the final size, there is some finishing allowance. So shrinkage, draft, and finishing, 3 types of allowances must be taken into account when we are making or designing a pattern. And of course, there are guidelines about it. If we go into casting in detail in some other course or in your engineering field, then you will get more details of this.